between Carlos Silva of the Cubs and Mark Burley of the White Sox out here. Now, we also had a bit of a weather scare at our other game up in Boston, but the tarp has come off the field, scheduled to start on time, which might be bad news for the visiting Phillies, who have dropped 15 of their last 19 against the Boston Red Sox. Now, of course, the big news in the world of baseball happened in Washington, D.C., and it took all of one whopping start for Steven Strasburg to make the Baseball Hall of Fame. Well, at least his game-worn cap and a game ball are off to Cooperstown after his dazzling debut against the Pirates on Tuesday. The Nats rookie will be back on the mound tomorrow in Cleveland, trying to follow up his 7-inning, 2-run, 14K, 0-walk performance. It was the most strikeouts in a big league debut since Houston's J.R. Richard fanned 15 Giants in 1971. Teammate Adam Dunn called it the best game I've ever seen pitched. Now, not everybody bursts onto the scene quite like Steven Strasburg. In fact, let's get to know how other big leaguers did in their major league debuts.
My first at bat was against big CC Sabathia. I remember looking out there, and CC's a pretty big guy, and I ended up walking my first at bat, and I was so pumped.
I just didn't want to strike out. I was in Anaheim. I was 0-2, and I was like, just don't strike out, and I hit a ground ball to second, and it was the happiest ground ball I've ever hit.
Struck out my first 3 times in the big leagues on all sliders, and they were all balls. It was terrible, terrible time.
I just remember being nervous. Super nervous. I remember Jared Wright was the pitcher, was with the Braves. Worked it to a 3-2 count. Fouled off my pitch that I felt like I could have just absolutely destroyed. And then he kind of threw me a front door, kind of Yahoo that came back. It was really a ball, but being a rookie or whatnot, he got the call.
I went up there trying to be aggressive, and I swung at a pitch. I was like 9, like rolling. Killed a couple worms on the way to the dish, and I took a full hack at it. That was my first big league at bat. Struck out.
I couldn't pull the bat off my shoulder. Ended up getting to a 3-2 count, and I walked, but I could not pull the bat off my shoulder. And I was like, dude, swing the bat. You're talking to yourself, swing the bat. Like, what are you doing? This is baseball.
First at bat, bases loaded. So I'm like, I'm going to be aggressive. And fortunately, it was a pitch that I got up in the zone. I was able to drive out of the ballpark for a home run, for a grand slam.
On my first hit, I slid into second base, and O-Dog was at second at the time. And he grabbed the ball, and I was already on the bag, and he tagged me, looked at me, and said, only 2,999 more to go.
We're getting ready for a little baseball. Paul Konerko with 17 big flies. Will he go deep against Carlos Silva? Hey, Red Sox fans, we've also got highlights of the Yankees against the Astros from earlier today. But first, it's a little baseball from Wrigley. Some of you see the Sox and the Cubbies lap it up. Others are off to Boston to catch the Phillies and the Red Sox. Fox Saturday Baseball presented by Chevrolet. Coming your way. First pitch is next.
Day for the first time in 49 years, and their fans celebrated yesterday during a ticker tape parade downtown. Hours later, the White Sox and Cubs got together for the first time this season yesterday here at Wrigley, and the White Sox won the series opener by the score of 10-5. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Fox Saturday Baseball. Kenny Albert along with Eric Karros. Today, Game 2 of this crosstown rivalry following the White Sox win yesterday. 16 hits for the Sox, 2 for Paul Konerko, who loves playing here at Wrigley, a career .303 average in this ballpark. And Eric, this season, he's enjoyed playing in just about every ballpark around the major leagues.
Well, he really has. You know, the captain of the White Sox has been doing it. He's been doing it for over 10 years. 17 home runs this season. That's one off the American League lead. 44 RBIs. He's been doing it. Looks like a youngster again, one of the top sluggers. But he's going to have to slug today. He faces Carlos Silva, who's been perfect for the Cubs. 8-0. And this is a guy the last 2 years, 5 total wins. In his starts this year, the Cubs are 10-1. They hope to make it 11 today.
Carlos Silva and Mark Burley will take the mound. We are just moments away from Game 2 of this Cubs-White Sox series at Wrigley Field as the Cubs look for revenge following the Sox victory yesterday. Emotions always high when these teams get together. It's next on Fox. Wrigley looking to bounce back from their 10-5 loss to the White Sox yesterday. White Sox have won 3 in a row. Record of 27-33, 8.5 out in the American League Central. The White Sox batting order brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Former Cub Juan Pierre leads off. Alexei Ramirez will hit second. Alex Rios third. Paul Konerko on the cleanup spot. Then Carlos Quent, A.J. Krasinski. Bottom of the order, Gordon Beckham, Jason Nix, and Mark Burley. As the White Sox get set to face 31-year-old right-hander Carlos Silva, who comes in with a record of 8-0.
He's been perfect all year long, and what an acquisition by general manager Jim Hendry. I don't think anybody expected him to start like this. Wow. For Carlos Silva, you know, he's got to keep it down. I mean, there's no question that this White Sox ball club, they're second in all of baseball in home runs. Keep it in this park. Keeping it down means ground balls. He's got a lot of movement, got the sinker. That's why he's been so effective.
You had a look at the sprint pitcher profile for Carlos Silva, acquired back in December from Seattle in exchange for Milton Bradley. For the Cubs defensively, brought to you by Scott, Soriano, Bird, Needy. In the outfield from left to right, Lee at first, Terrio at second, Castro at short, Baker at third, and the battery of Silva, and Soto. Today's game brought to you by Budweiser, official beer of the first inning. The beer that starts with full flavor and ends with a crisp, clean finish. Budweiser, it's what we do. Rain earlier, sunny skies here at Wrigley Field as Juan Pierre steps in to lead things off against Carlos Silva. And the first pitch, catching the outside corner for strike one. One from Silva, fouled back, so Pierre falls behind 0-2. He was 0 for 4 with a couple of walks in yesterday's game.
Yeah, Pierre started off rough with the White Sox this year, but you've got to remember, it hasn't really been a full-time guy the last few years. With the Dodgers, that fourth outfielder getting some time, and I spoke to Ozzie Guillen yesterday, and he said, look, Pierre's played himself into shape, and now he's doing what we had hoped.
Fastball from Silva missing inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes on a 67-degree afternoon in Chicago. Chance of thunderstorms later. We had some drizzle earlier today, but this game started on time, and Carlos Silva strikes out the first batter, Juan Pierre.
Here's Ozzie right there. He's got the hoodie on today. You mentioned a little cooler today. Yesterday, sweltering.
About 20 degrees cooler this afternoon as Alexei Ramirez steps in. And on the first pitch, he singles over the outstretched glove of Starlin Castro into left center field. So the White Sox with a 1-out base runner here in the first.
Well, Alexi's not wasting any time. He gets a ball that, see, watch that, it runs into the right-handed hitter. Alexi able to shoot that ball over Castro's head at short. But the thing we're going to have to watch today is that ball Silva threw. It started on the inner or the middle of the plate and ran to the inner half, and that's when he gets himself in trouble.
So with Ramirez taking his lead off first, Silva throws over. Alex Rios at the plate. Rios having a terrific season. And a big day yesterday with 4 hits, including his 13th home run.
Yeah, when he was acquired last year, really didn't do much. A lot of White Sox fans were questioning, man, what about this acquisition? But he's lowered his hands a little bit. See, they start almost below his waist. He's really been swinging it like they had hoped.
Base hit up the middle for Rios. On his way to third is Ramirez. So the White Sox with runners on the corners with only 1 out here in the top of the first inning.
Well, Silva upset just because this is a routine ground ball, but it's back up the middle. It finds its hole. You know, Silva does what he wants to do. He induces the ground ball, hoping to get a double play. It's just right up the middle. Not much you can do about that. Now you got problems.
There's Carlos Quentin on deck. Paul Konerko at the plate. 2 hits, 2 runs batted in yesterday for the White Sox captain. 3rd of the league in home runs, 6th in runs batted in. White Sox got off to a quick start yesterday by scoring 2 in the first. Finished with 10 runs on 16 hits. Back-to-back singles here in the first inning by Ramirez and Rios as Konerko takes a called strike, 0-1. Ramirez on third, Rios over at first. Only Jose Bautista and Miguel Cabrera have more home runs in all of baseball than Paul Konerko. The 0-1, right field, base hit. Ramirez scores easily. Rios to second. White Sox lead 1-0. RBI number 45 for Konerko.
Well, Konerko does a nice job of hitting right now, just trying to drive in the run. And see what we were talking about earlier. That pitch starts on the outer half of the plate, but just shoots right on the inner part of the plate, easily for Konerko to shoot to right field. Now, we've seen two of those. The pitch to Alexi Ramirez started out over the plate and then ran into his swing. Same thing there with Konerko. You want that diving action. You don't want that side-to-side action that so far Silva's displayed.
Coming into this game, Eric, over his first 11 starts, Silva had allowed only one run in the first inning. Quentin bounce foul back behind third. So Silva in trouble early. You mentioned Cubs have gone 10-1 in his starts. They've won the last 10 Silva starts. Looking to become the first Cub to start 9-0 since Ken Holtzman back in 1967. Foul back to the screen. 0-2 on Quentin.
It'll be interesting to watch Silva today. I was speaking with pitching coach Larry Rothschild before the game, and he felt like one of the biggest adjustments was Silva's ability to stay closed with that front shoulder. When he opens up, that's when the ball starts to tail. He gets in trouble. And we've seen it happen twice today.
Strikes out Quentin with the fastball. Second strikeout here in the first inning for Carlos Silva. Do you want to see your name on the air? Play MLB on Fox. Tune in to win now on foxsports.com/tunein. Make your predictions during today's game. But you must hurry. Those predictions must be submitted by the end of the second inning. Stick around to increase your chances of winning with the 7th inning bonus question. Winners will be announced on the air during the 9th inning, so log on to foxsports.com/tunein to play now. With 2 away, A.J. Przinsky takes a called strike. Like Rios, Przinsky had 4 hits in yesterday's game. And like Konerko, he loves hitting. Here at Wrigley Field, a lifetime .329 average for Przinsky here at Wrigley. 2 on, 2 out. Strike 2.
Well, that pitch had some life on it. A fastball, again, that just darts. It doesn't slide like a couple of those pitches we saw earlier. That's the Silva that the Cubs want to see. Watch this thing. That thing is moving right now. Runs away from Przinsky's bat. Come inside now.
Comes way inside on the 0-2 pitch. Przinsky will head down to first. White Sox have loaded him up.
Well, after the pitch on the outer half of the plate, he's going to come inside. Now, Przinsky has that protective gear on his elbow, so it really doesn't do much. Silva, absolutely not what he wanted to do. If I take that back, maybe it did do a little something.
Fourth time Przinsky has been hit by a pitch this season.
Well, Przinsky's had some success against Silva, hitting close to 300, a few home runs. But absolutely, Silva's not trying to hit him in any way, shape, or form. He's trying to set him up. Like I said, a fastball that ran away. He's hoping that Przinsky's looking out over the plate and he can tie him up inside.
So the bases loaded with 2 outs. Gordon Beckham at the plate. Beckham hitting just .204. 171 with runners in scoring position. Rios, Konerko, and Przinsky are the base runners. One and one. Bounce back up the middle. Stepping on second for the force is Terrio. And the Cubs get out of the inning allowing just 1 run, 3 hits, and a hits batsman. 1-0 Sox. Cubs with a record of 27-34. Cubs batting order brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Ryan Terrio leads off, followed by third baseman Jeff Baker. Derek Lee bats third. Marlon Byrd having a terrific season in the cleanup spot. Then Xavier Nady. Alfonso Soriano will bat sixth. Bottom of the order, Giovanni Soto, Starlin Castro, and Carlos Silva. As the Cubs get set to face 31-year-old left-hander Mark Burley, who comes in with a record of 3-6 over his first 12 starts.
He's had some rough ones as of late, too. The last start, 3 innings, over 90-some-odd pitches. And, that's not the Mark Burley that the White Sox, need to see or need to have if they're expected to compete this year.
Earned run average over 5, and the sprint pitcher profile for Mark Burley.
It's the same old thing for Burley. He's got to keep the ball away, especially from the right-handed hitters and in this ballpark. Cubs are aggressive. Make them expand their zone. Mark Burley is yet to win on the road this year. 0-4 with almost a 6 ERA. Time to get one today for the White Sox.
Bit of a delay as his catcher, A.J. Pierzynski, was getting checked in the White Sox dugout after he was hit by a pitch in the top of the inning. Burley with the best all-time winning percentage for a pitcher in interleague play. He has a record of 20-6. Only 4-4 against the Cubs, 16-2 against everybody else.
Well, again, remember those games against the Cubs, there's a little bit more at stake. It's just not that interleague rivalry. This is for the city bragging rights, which are huge here in Chicago.
First pitch to Ryan Terrio, in for a strike, 0-1. The last time Burley won here at Wrigley back in June of 03, you had 3 hits off him in that game.
Long time ago.
Ryan Terrio leads off with a base hit into left field for the Cubs.
Keep away means outside part of the plate and beyond. Doesn't mean down the middle or anything like that. Mark Burley, again, is a guy that pitches to hitters' aggressiveness. If the team is a team that is patient, they hit him. And if he is a guy that throws the ball over the plate, they will hit him.
Terrio with 14 steals, third in the National League. In fact, he has stolen a base in 3 consecutive games. First pitch to third baseman Jeff Baker, in for a called strike. Baker starting at third for the 10th time this season. Cubs regular third baseman Aramis Ramirez placed on the disabled list earlier this week. So Baker splitting time with Chad Tracy, just up from AAA. 0-1 to Baker. Base hit up the middle off the glove of Burley. Terrio to second. Back-to-back singles for the Cubs with nobody out. And now the White Sox in the field. Brought to you by Scott's. Pierre, Rios, and Quentin in the outfield from left to right. Canerco at first, Beckham at second, Ramirez at short, Jason Nix at third, and a battery of Burley and Pierzynski. So after the White Sox scored a run at the top of the first, Cubs threatening, 2 on, nobody out, ball 1 to Derek Lee. Lee struck out 3 times yesterday. He's 6 for 13 with a home run in his career against Burley.
You see, there's that changeup. Derek Lee way out in front. You know, with Burley, as a hitter, you've got to go up and tell yourself, I'm hitting it to right center. At least think that way. Because if it's inside, you'll pull it.
1-2.
See, and that's the changeup that Derek Lee was out in front of. And again, with Burley, you just crowd the plate and say, I'm going to right center. I'm going to right center. And see, that type of swing is the one that Mark Burley can prey upon. The one where the hitter's trying to pull that pitch on the outer part of the plate, pulling loose ground balls all day long. Again, it's an ego thing. You have to, as a hitter, you go up there and you say, you know what, I'm going to take that single to right center. It's easy to say, but it's tough as heck to do.
So what you did in that 3-hit game?
I think Burley probably just ran into my bat.
Lee down on strikes, 1 away.
Man, this is what we talk about with Mark Burley and him being effective. He uses the hitter's aggressiveness to get out. This ball is out of the zone. It's not a strike. But Derek Lee up there, excited. I'm going to drive that ball instead of just widening the stance. And again, I'm going to say it over and over. Go to right center against Mark Burley.
Let's see if Marlon Byrd takes your advice.
He's doing just fine.
8-game hitting streak. Leads the team in runs scored and runs batted in. Second in the league in hitting with a .329 average, trailing only Andre Ethier of the Dodgers. And what a month of June so far, 17 for 34. 2 on, 1 out. Burley capturing the inside corner with a fastball, 0-2.
Yeah, see, he runs that pitch in the inner half of the plate. He's going to do that just to keep you honest. As a hitter, you're not going to protect both sides of the plate. Where Burley will make or get his outs is going to be on the outer half. Pierzynski right there calling for a pitch up in the zone. You know, just to change the eyesight of the hitter. Now look for either that breaking ball down and in around the heels or a changeup away.
You mentioned Burley's struggles as of late. He's allowed 6 earned runs in each of his last 2 starts.
Tried to sneak one up stairs again. You know, I don't think, Burley doesn't throw hard enough where he's going to have a lot of success up high. I think when AJ calls that, he's playing with fire a little bit. Expand the zone, go on the outer part of the plate, throw something off the plate.
Second consecutive strikeout for Burley, who's thrown 14 pitches in the inning. 13 of the 14 have been strikes. So now 2 away. The Prostate Cancer Foundation raises funds for prostate cancer research by securing pledges for home runs hit during selected Major League Baseball games from now through June 21st. Fans can make pledges to the Home Run Challenge by calling 1-800-798-CURE
or by logging on to ecf.org. All home runs hit in today's game will be worth $14,000. There were 4 home runs in yesterday's game. 3 hit by the White Sox, and Alfonso Soriano with career home run number 300. And he is on deck should Nady reach. First and second with 2 outs. Nady 1 for 8 lifetime against Burley. His only hit, a home run. One and 2.
Again, setting it up. Setting up the outside by showing the inside pitch. And he's not going to make his outs on the inner half of the plate, or get his outs on the inner half of the plate. You know, now this is where when you're on deck and you watch the hitter ahead of you, you can learn something. What he did with Bird, he started away, then he went inside, then he went 2 high pitches, and then when he went away. So if he stays to pattern, this pitch is going to be up. The next one will be a changeup away. Or he just goes to the changeup away. That's where the outs are. Have I said that enough yet today, Kenny?
And it's only the first inning. Full count. Burley allowed back-to-back singles.
Changeup away.
He struck out Lee, struck out Bird. Payoff pitch to Nady. Brzezinski out in front of the plate. And the Cubs strand 2 in the first. By Taco Bell, think outside the bun. By the all-new 2011 Super Duty, built for tough. And by Sprint, the Now Network. Back in Chicago, top of the second inning with the White Sox leading the Cubs 1-0. Kenny Albert along with Derek Karros and Chris Rose. Following the White Sox 10-5 victory yesterday. White Sox with a run on 3 hits in the first inning. They also stranded 3 as Jason Nix leads off. First pitch from Silva off the fists in foul territory, off the glove of the catcher Soto. So Nix stays alive.
Well, tough play for Soto. Ideally, you'd like the first baseman to come running in to make that play, but Derek Lee playing deep. Soto getting over there by the screen. Ozzie Guillen helping him a little bit. –
0-2 on Knicks with Mark Burley waiting on deck.
See Soto about ready to hit that screen right there. And because of the height of that, anytime you go over there as a fielder, the thing that scares you is you're worried about flipping right over that thing.
They'll have to you.
I went over in a camera well at Dodger Stadium, and it's not fun. It's scary. Fortunately, I was not hurt. But you see some of the guys, I mean, they've got no regard. They're going into the fences, they're going into the stands, and you're running into things that's concrete. That's not like some foamy, fun substance that you're running into.
Mike Davis, the rookie first baseman with the New York Mets, has gone over a couple of times. Has made some tremendous plays this year. To Knicks, a called strike 3, and his former minor league club, the Brooklyn Cyclones, are going to have an upside-down bobblehead day for him later this summer. Time for a DirecTV game break. We send it downstairs to Chris Rose. Chris?
All right, guys, in the house at $1.2 billion built. Yankees and Astros tied at 2 in the third. And Jorge Posada goes the right way, which is right center. His 8th career Grand Slam, 250th homer of the year. The Yankees top the Astros. And now just a half game back in the American League East. Remember, to see every baseball game in HD, it's 1-800-DirecTV. Kenny and EK, back up to you.
All right, Chris. Yankees with a 4-3 win last night as Andy Pettit raised his record to 8-1 against his former club, the Astros. Yankees do it again today. Mark Burley at the plate with 1 out, batting for the first time this season. 4 for 40 in his career with 1 home run. Gets the bat on it. Terrio moving to his right. Over to Derek Lee for out number 2. Time now, Eric, for today's 4 keys to the game.
Well, for the Chicago White Sox, they just got to keep swinging. They found their offense. That 3-4 spot, Canerco and Rios, they have been hot as heck. And again, we saw it in the first inning. Like the Chicago Cubs, the bottom line, they've got to score. You saw where, they ran into trouble in that first inning, get runners on, and then there you go. They've got to catch Kenny. Ready? No, they're not catching you.
Oh, okay.
No, they're not catching you.
That would be Kenny Holtzman.
That would be Kenny Holtzman. Jose Silva just 1 win away from tying Mr. Holtzman at 9-0. The Chicago Cubs started.
9-0 back in '67. Silva, the first Cub to start 8-0 in 100 years. King Cole started his season 8-0 for the Cubs back in 1910. The same King Cole who allowed Babe Ruth's first major league hit.
Wow.
4 years later in 1914. He won 20 games for the Cubs back in 1910.
That's some serious research on your part, Kenny.
King Cole. Anything else you would like to know about Mr. Cole? Also pitched for the Pirates and the Yankees. Payoff pitch to Pierre. Left center. And the catch is made by Bird. So Silva retires the White Sox in order in the second. Is sponsored by Budweiser with full flavor and a crisp, clean finish. It's what we do. Bottom of the second inning from Wrigley Field in Chicago. A lot of Blackhawk fans on hand as Soriano crushes one. Deep left field, but it will stay in the ballpark. The catch is made on the warning track by Juan Pierre for out number 1. So Burley has now retired 4 in a row after allowing back-to-back singles in the first inning. Strike 1 to Giovanni Soto.
Lou Piniella right there, and he's had to mix and match. Changed his bullpen up this year, trying to juggle 5 outfielders and get them playing time.
Soto singles to left center. And that subject led to a war of words over the last couple of days involving Lou Piniella and White Sox broadcaster Steve Stone, longtime broadcaster with the Cubs. Lou trying to juggle, as you said, 5 outfielders into 3 spots.
And we spoke to Lou prior to the game, and the reality is he's got 3 outfielders, Bird, Soriano, and Fukudomi. They're playing all right. It's not great, but they're playing well. Bird's having an excellent season. Soriano's holding his own. Fukudomi is, he's hitting 270. And really none have given a reason to Lou Piniella to sit them down on the bench. And then he's got the youngster Colvin, who when he has had an opportunity has produced. Got to get at bats for Xavier Nady as well. The reality is there's only 3 outfield spots.
And Lou certainly does not shy away from using young players. Castro at the plate right now, a prime example, starting his 34th consecutive game at shortstop since he was called up back in early May. Soto, National League Rookie of the Year 2 years ago.
Terrio as well. It's like I said, you look at what the outfielders have done, the veteran guys, and they haven't really given Lou a good reason where, hey, look, you lose your job, we've got to sit you down.
Castro flies out to Quentin and right. 2 away with Carlos Silva coming to the plate. Next week on Fox Saturday Baseball, interleague play continues as the Twins take on the Phillies. The Dodgers battle the Red Sox in Fenway, and these White Sox square off against the Washington Nationals. Fox Saturday Baseball, presented by Chevrolet, returns next week at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on Fox. Check local listings for the game and start time in your area. Silva fouls off the first pitch from Burley. Silva with 2 hits this season, 2 for 20. He's driven in 2 runs. I saw a Cub and a White Sox fan sharing a bottle of water.
I don't know if that White Sox fan, what they did with that water, it just looked like drinking out of it, pass it on. Might have thrown a little backwash in there and passed it on.
There may have been more Blackhawks jerseys here yesterday than Cubs and White Sox combined.
There are a few right there.
Blackhawks winning their 4th Stanley Cup on Wednesday night in Philadelphia. The parade yesterday reports of a crowd of around 2 million in the streets of Chicago during that ticker tape parade.
Well, it's a great city to win a championship. And, I said this a number of times.
Beckham climbs the ladder to rob Silva of a base hit. We'll return to Chicago after these messages from your local Fox station. Talk Saturday Baseball presented by Chevrolet from Wrigley Field in Chicago on what has turned into a sunny Saturday afternoon. Gorgeous day yesterday during the Blackhawks parade and the first game of this series. White Sox with a run on the first. Lead the Cubs 1-0. Here's Alexei Ramirez, who got things started in the first inning with a one-out single, came around to score. And here in the third, he pops out to the first baseman, Derek Lee, just in front of our Chris Rose. Chris?
Yeah, I almost got a paw on that one, Kenny. You guys were talking about the Blackhawks parade. Almost 2 million people there on Michigan Avenue to celebrate. Well, of course, now the Cup is making its move from restaurant to restaurant. Last night, the whole Fox crew is having dinner. Joel Quenneville, the head coach of the Chicago Blackhawks, brings in the Stanley Cup. And we're all there to smile, and Karros' hair is blocking Kenny out of the photo. Can we go back to that a second? Karros, can you cut your hair? How often are we going to run into the Stanley Cup at dinner?
You know what's amazing is I don't recall Chris being at that dinner. Do you?
Do I?
I mean, the guy gets a phone call that the Stanley Cup's there, and boy, drops everything and rushes over. I mean, unbelievable.
I actually got photoshopped into that thing.
Chris mentioned the entire Fox crew was at dinner. The entire Fox crew minus Chris.
All right, now hold on here. I was out with some high school buddies last night, so I got texted by our pregame producer, Don Bowie. He said, get your butt over here. Stanley Cup's here, so I had to race over. I mean, how often are you going to run into the Stanley Cup? But it is really cool. Listen, Kenny, you've covered hockey for years. There is no greater trophy in all of sports than Lord Stanley's Cup, and people just gravitate toward the chalice, don't they?
Oh, I agree. It weighs about 35 pounds. Diving stop by Baker. And he fires across to nail Rios for out number 2. Terrific play by the Cubs' third baseman, Jeff Baker.
A great diving stop that he gets up, sets himself, and hey, Derek Lee makes a nice pick over there at first base. He doesn't pick that ball. We're not talking about what a great play. Not an easy job. Derek Lee, one of the best over at first base. See his head right on it. It has a nice high hop. Gets it. He gathers himself because, again, doesn't matter how quick you are, you've got to get your feet underneath you so you can make a good, strong throw. Derek Lee picks up Jeff Baker at first.
So 2 outs. Here's Paul Konerko, who drove in the White Sox run in the first inning, and in the process extended his Wrigley hitting streak to 17 games. As I mentioned, the Stanley Cup weighs about 35 pounds. When Blackhawks coach Joel Quenneville walked into the restaurant with it last night, holding the cup high above his head, probably felt like a feather to Joel. And we congratulate the entire Blackhawks organization, from owner Rocky Wirtz on down. John McDonough, former president of the Cubs, has done such a great job. General manager Stan Bowman, and the assistant coaches Mike Havlin and John Torchetti, who were on hand last night. And how about Dale Talon, who played such a large part in putting the Blackhawks team together, recently named the general manager of the Florida Panthers.
Well, as I mentioned, great city to win a championship, and really the last team championship, as far as celebrations are concerned, the biggest one will be if and when the Chicago Cubs win a World Series.
Of course, the White Sox won back in 2005. And I'm sure every time a Chicago team does win, the Bulls, Bears back in '85, now the Blackhawks, White Sox in '05. You can only imagine what it would be like if and when the Cubs do win their next World Series.
Take a look there, 1908. Last time the Cubs won a World Series.
Blackhawks had not won since 1961. They also won the Cup in 1934 and 1938. Ending a 49-year drought. Full count with 2 outs, nobody on. Payoff pitch from Silva to Konerko, and he gets the bat on it and has his second base hit of the game.
Silva's effective when he's got that movement down in the zone. This runs a little bit, but it's up. And anytime the ball is up, closer to the hitter's eyesight, the hitter usually has a better opportunity of hitting that ball. Like I mentioned, Silva is good when he's got that downward action when he starts the ball at the hitter's knees.
Carlos Quentin, first pitch. Eric Lee makes the play to retire the side. So Konerko is stranded as the city of Chicago celebrates. Chris, thanks for coming. The White Sox leading the Cubs 1-0. Ryan Theriot leading off against Mark Burley.
There it is. No idea that that's on his hat.
Or on TV.
Or
2-1 on Theriot, who singled his first time up. 7th in the league in hits. 7 for his last 16. Top of the order for the Cubs here in the third. Now 3-1.
Well, in this leadoff spot, this is where he's got to be patient. Lou Piniella has asked him to take more walks, be more patient. I think he's taking all the way right there, which is fine. Doesn't matter how you get down to first, just as long as you do, especially when you've got speed like Theriot.
Ground ball to the third baseman, Nix. So Theriot is retired. Time for another DirecTV game break. We head downstairs to Chris.
Kenny, in the pregame, we talked about big leaguers reliving their first at bat. Daniel Nava will remember his forever. Bases loaded against the Phillies. Joe Blanton. It is a grand slam in his Major League Baseball debut. Red Sox lead the Phillies 5-2. He gets a curtain call as well. Way to go, kid. Welcome to the Bigs. Remember to see every baseball game in HD. It's 1-800-DIRECTV. EK, what'd you do in your first debut?
Doug Harvey rung me up against Real Cormier. St. Louis, Real Cormier, yeah, second. Yeah, what was that, St. Louis?
What was he throwing, like 78?
Garbage.
Yeah.
And then he rung me up the next time, too. Doug Harvey. So I say Doug Harvey got me. I don't know if Real Cormier got me. Doug Harvey got me.
Baker flies out to Quentin as he and Rios come together. Now 2 away.
Now watch this. You see Quentin, he's yelling and he's got his arm up. Now, I don't know if the arm is to shield the sun or the glare or to give a visual to Rios. Rios should get that play because he's a center fielder. He takes precedent over anybody if he wants it.
The 0-1 to Derek Lee, who struck out his first time up. So a grand slam for Nava in his first major league at bat.
And where do you go from there? I mean,
down.
Man, this is, it's pretty easy. Go out there, one swing of the bat, got 4 ribbies, just hit a granny.
Starlin Castro of the Cubs with a 3-run home run in his first major league at bat. The problem for Starlin, only 2 men were on base. As Lee flies out to Pierre, a 1-2-3 third for Mark Burley. Still 1-0 Sox. Roundup Pump and Go Sprayer. Hard on weeds, easy on you. By Ink, the new business card from Chase. Make your mark with Ink. And by One A Day Men's, the official multivitamin of Major League Baseball, specially formulated for men. Top of the 4th inning. White Sox scored their run of the first. And lead the Cubs 1-0. Here's A.J. Pierzynski, who was hit by a pitch his first time up. Below the bases, and he takes a called strike, 0-1. Left-handed batter, and over his first 11 starts, lefties have hit 170 against Silva this season.
Well, I think a lot of it is because of the movement of that fastball. You watch it right there. It runs away from the left-handed hitter. So you start that over the middle of the plate, and it runs to the outer part or even off the plate. Or you can throw it right at the left-handed hitter's hip. He'll freeze, and then it breaks over the inner part. Very tough pitch for left-handed hitters.
Pierzynski thrown out by the second baseman Terrio for out number 1. We chatted moments ago with Cubs skipper Lou Piniella, and we asked Lou about his expectations for Carlos Silva coming into this 2010 season.
Well, he came to spring training. He was nice and healthy. He threw the ball well in the spring. He earned a spot in the rotation, and he's been our best pitcher. It's been a good story for us. It really has.
Lou, the offense hasn't been what you had hoped, but as a manager, I mean, what more can you do other than just to write the names in the lineup?
Well, Eric, you played, and you know that when you get up the home plate, it's a challenge between you and the pitcher. And you can take all the batting practice you want. You can look at all the film. You can work on your mechanics. But, boy, when you get up the home plate, it's you and the pitcher, and you've got to – when you're struggling, you really, really got to grind. That's all I can say. I know it's not easy, but, boy, I'll tell you what, we make it really hard at times.
Okay, thanks, Lou. Best of luck. All right. Gordon Peckham grounded out to Jeff Baker. We thank Lou Piniella for taking a couple of minutes between innings. Now 2 away. Here are the White Sox fourth. Carlos Silva, 8-0 in 11 starts. A couple of other undefeated pitchers around baseball.
I think Mike Leake has really been a surprise coming out of Arizona State. The success he's had. Cincinnati, the top of the division.
Was drafted just a year ago in what might come to be known as the Strasburg draft. Steven Strasburg drafted first overall by the Washington Nationals in 2009. Made his highly anticipated Major League debut this past Tuesday.
Yeah, you know, and I'll be the first to say, I'm all for hyping guys, but I give them a few years in the big leagues, let them accomplish something. But I watched that start the other day that he had. Man, that was ridiculous. You know, and they were authenticating the dirt and gonna, authenticating some of the balls. They were going to take the rubber. And I'll tell you, after watching that start, I was like, look, I'll buy some of that dirt because I'm a believer. That looked a lot like that start that Kerry Wood had against the Astros as far as the way that the hitters were being dominated.
Off the glove of Castro. Well, the White Sox have a 2-out base runner here in the fourth.
Well, Castro gets over there and he thinks he's got it and ready to make the transfer. That's a big hit right there. And the reason I say that is that brings Mark Burley to the plate. Silva, oh, come on, I don't think he's questioning the play, but just, gosh, if that's another foot over. But now you got Burley, you get him out of the leadoff spot for the next inning. You're turning your lineup over. It's a big hit.
Burley grounded to second his first time up. You mentioned Kerry Wood. What do he and Strasburg have in common? Jim Riggleman was Kerry Wood's manager as a rookie with the Cubs. And he's the manager of the Washington Nationals during Strasburg's rookie season. Nationals also have the first overall pick in this year's draft, selected 17-year-old Bryce Harper. And how about this? Strasburg became the first pitcher in baseball history to record 14 or more strikeouts while throwing fewer than 96 pitches. That had never been done before, ever. Not even by King Cole.
Well, the numbers are great, but for me, watching it, just the feeble swings of major leaguers, the way that these guys were overpowered, and I think we're going to see that quite a bit with Strasburg on the mound.
Burley went around. Strikeout number 4 for Silva. Nick stranded on first, middle of the fourth. 1-0 White Sox. outs for the Cubs. Middle of the order for the Cubs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Marlon Byrd will lead off. He struck out his first time up, 2 for 13 lifetime against Mark Burley, who lasted only 3 innings in his last start against Cleveland on Sunday when he allowed 6 runs on 8 hits. Pitching into the 4th here today, having scattered 3 base hits. And Byrd shoots it foul down the right field line into the White Sox bullpen, now 1-1.
Again, Burley staying away from the hitters. And I'd like to see the Cub hitters, maybe they move closer to the plate or they move up in the box and try to take away that outside pitch, challenge Burley to come inside.
Burley does come inside. Too far inside, now 2-1.
Well, and you see when he does come inside, it's not a fastball, it's that cutter. The thing's going to run in, and if he does miss, he's going to miss off the plate inside.
Fastball catches the inside corner.
See, as a hitter right there, that's frustrating because that pitch was further inside than the previous one, which Doug Eddings called a ball. Marlon Byrd not happy with that, and that changes the whole complexion of the at-bat. Instead of 3-1, now you're 2-2. Tried to sneak a fastball right there after the 2 cutters. Now this is where I think Burley goes back out off of the plate, throws a changeup. He's gone hard in 3 successive times. I think he's got Byrd set up.
Byrd did not go around, says Dana Demuth, the crew chief, working at first base today.
Now you go with your best pitch, change up away.
Byrd gets the bat on it, right center, and it drops in for a base hit. So Marlon Byrd extending his hitting streak to 9 games. We chatted moments ago with White Sox manager Ozzie Guillen, and we asked Ozzie about guys like Konerko and Brzezinski, who always seem to have success during interleague play here at Wrigley Field.
So, when you play the crosstown game, everybody, step it up a notch. I think it's a great thing for the city. I think everybody involved in these games. And I just told the player before, make the playoff and go to the World Series. This is the best scenario you want to play for.
Talk a little bit about Paul Konerko, what he's meant to the franchise, and again, having a great year so far.
The reason we call it, he's a captain. I named the captain him right in the 2006 season. These guys bring a lot of things. Besides a great hitter, I think the unity to the ball club is great. I think, PK's always go out there and push his numbers. I know nobody talk about him, nobody say much about him. But other song in the end of the season, he got the great numbers always.
Okay, thanks, Ozzie.
All right, boys.
And Paul Konerko with 2 hits today has driven in the game's only run. As Ozzie, the always engaging Ozzie Guillen, waved up to my broadcast partner here in the booth.
We had a chance to work together last year's World Series. Ozzie sharing his opinions. You see again that when he's going inside, he's going right on the corner, he's going off the plate. Marlon Byrd, who's at first base, made a great adjustment looking out over the plate. He finally said, look, I'm going to get that changeup. He drove it to right center. Lou Piniella would say he grinded in that at-bat. He battled.
2-1 on Nady, no outs. Byrd, the runner on first. And you asked what Daniel Nava, who hit a grand slam for the Red Sox in his first major league at bat, could possibly do for an encore. Came up again with the bases loaded. Struck out.
See, that's the problem. You hit a grand slam your first at bat. Expectations you set for yourself, for everybody else. Just can't live up to them after that. Want to ease your way into the big leagues.
Nady with a base hit into left field. Well, the Cubs with back-to-back singles here in the bottom of the fourth. Now have runners on first and second with nobody out, and Alfonso Soriano coming to the plate yesterday off Jake Peavy in the second inning. Soriano connected for the 300th home run of his major league career, a mark reached by teammate Derek Lee just 2 days earlier.
See, pretty accomplished numbers. That, you know, with striking, you got the 300 home runs, but the stolen bases down at the bottom. And this guy used to steal 30 bags, 40 bags a year. Doesn't run.
He was a 40-40 man back in 06. Only the fourth player in history with 40 home runs and 40 steals in one season. 2 on, nobody out. 0-2 on Soriano.
Well, you remember the Cubs had the first 2 hitters reach base in the first inning on base hits, and they didn't move. And now you're 0-2. You got the first 2 runners on, but this is a part of the at-bat where we talked to Lou Piniella earlier. This is where you got to grind. And this is a mental thing. It's not a physical issue. It's, look at it. There's no way this guy is going to beat me. He's going to just make contact.
No contact that time. Strikeout number 3 for Mark Burley. So 1 away. Nationwide, thousands of communities have gotten involved as Chevrolet and Scotts have set out to rebuild local ballparks. Don't miss your chance to get involved and to win a new Chevrolet at ChevyBaseball.com. 1 away for Giovanni Soto.
See, this is for me. This is what Lou Piniella is talking about. You've got runners on first and second. Soriano comes up. 3 pitches, he's out. Soto comes up here. The first pitch really out of the zone or tough pitch to hit, swings. And that's not grinding. That's going up there and just swinging. And it's very easy to talk about, you know, and recognize it. But really, when you're in a funk like this as a team, you've got to go up there. You got to say, look, I'm going to make it happen one way or the other. And that's the mental battle that you have with yourself. See, that's a tough pitch right there as a hitter. Been a couple calls. Marlon Byrd didn't like one earlier.
1-2, Burley missing away. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes. Soto down on strikes. Second consecutive strikeout, 4th in the game for Burley.
Again, as a hitter, you've got to recognize what is Burley's out pitch. It's the changeup away. What does he come with? The changeup away. The Cubs right now with runners in scoring position today, 0 for 5, but get this, 4 strikeouts. I mean, that's the grind part that Lou was talking about. 4 strikeouts, that's not grinding.
First inning after Burley allowed back-to-back singles. He struck out Lee and Bird. Here in the 4th, back-to-back singles, strikeouts of Soriano and Soto. Starlin Castro fly to right his first time up. 1-1.
And Burley wanted that pitch. The inner part of the plate's been relatively inconsistent as far as what's being called, which makes things difficult for the hitter and the pitcher. That's a fastball. There have been some cutters that have been further in.
2-1, Castro. The first and only major leaguer born in the 1990s. Born March 24th, 1990. Two on, 2 out. Fastball missing inside. Now 3-1. With the pitcher Silva waiting on deck.
Yeah, and this is where if you're Burley, I mean, you've got to go with a changeup. I mean, I go with a changeup away. I'm going against a young hitter right now. I'm going to use his aggressiveness. I mean, it's going to be very difficult for Castro to take a walk.
Gets the bat on it. Backhanded by the shortstop, Ramirez. And the White Sox get the force at second. Alex Rios due up third for the White Sox in the fifth. They lead the Cubs 1-0. With the White Sox leading the Cubs 1-0. Juan Pierre, one of 165 men who have played for both the White Sox and the Cubs.
Name the other 164. That King Cole was good, but you name the other 164, I'll be impressed.
Off the top of my head, maybe not. With help, perhaps. Cubs and White Sox have made 22 trades. 16 players have played for both clubs in the same season. Hands-on instruction from the manager.
I don't know if that's instruction or storytelling.
Well, perhaps both. As Pierre lays down the bunt. Nice play by Baker. Baker's made a couple of fine plays for the Cubs in the field this afternoon. So Pierre is retired. As we check out our Verizon game summary.
You see right there, both pitchers have really thrown well. Konerko, 2 hits already. Drove in a run. Hey, one thing there that we didn't see, 0 for 6 are the Cubs today with runners in scoring position. 4 strikeouts.
Let's see, Ramirez looking to bunt his way on. Ramirez 1 for 2. Singled in the first, came around to score the game's only run. Extended his hitting streak to 9 games. And fouled out in the third inning. White Sox won yesterday's game 10-5. They lead the all-time series during interleague play. 38-35. Nothing and 2 on Ramirez with Alex Rios waiting on deck. 0-2 from Silva. A called strike 3. Ramirez down on strikes. 5th strikeout for Carlos Silva.
That is just flat out nasty right there. It's got movement. It's on the outer half of the plate. It's down in the zone. And that's why Carlos Silva's been effective this year.
Alex Rios has been more than effective for the White Sox this season. Rios 1 for 2 today. Came into the game 9th in the American League in hitting. On pace to become the first ever 30-30 man in franchise history. Silva comes way inside. And for the second time today, he has hit a White Sox with a pitch. How about the combined numbers for Rios and Konerko this season?
Well, they've been doing it. And Konerko and Rios, the speed, the average. Konerko providing the slugging, the quality at bats. I mean, these two have not been an issue in the middle of the lineup. The problem is they got to get guys on in front of them. The bottom of the lineup's got to produce. But Konerko and Rios as good a 3-4 as there's been in baseball this year.
Konerko with 2 hits today, an RBI. Extending his hitting streak to 7 games. His Wrigley hitting streak, as we saw in the Verizon game summary, to 17. Silva hit only 2 batters over his first 11 starts. He's hit 2 today in 5 innings. Pierzynski and Rios. 336 home runs as a White Sox. Second all time to Frank Thomas. And 14 home runs during interleague play against the Cubs. That's the most by any active player against one team in interleague play. Off the glove of Silva. Quick recovery, and he throws out Konerko to end the inning. Middle of the 5th here at Wrigley. Still 1-0 White Sox. Our award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers. Back in Chicago, White Sox lead the Cubs 1-0. Cloudy skies above Wrigley Field. Here in the bottom of the 5th inning with Carlos Silva leading off against Mark Burley, who allowed 6 earned runs in each of his last 2 starts. Nothing over the first 4 innings today. Burley with 20 career interleague wins, second all time to Mike Messina, who won 21 games in interleague play during his career. Silva pops it up, foul territory. Konerko in front of the dugout, no play.
See Konerko moving over. Looks like it right on the arm. It's not rubbing anything.
I guess if anybody gets hit, should be the trainer, right? Take care of himself. Herm Schneider, the longtime trainer for the White Sox. Hired back in 1979 here in Chicago. Second base, Beckham. One away. And the White Sox dugout, Mark Kotsay wearing a microphone for us today.
What's the best prank you've ever pulled on anybody?
That's Mark on the right.
You guys did the hot foot and all that stuff we've done. Bubble gums on the hat.
That's beautiful.
That is Kevin Hickey, a pregame instructor with the White Sox. Mark Kotsay asking him, what's the best prank that you ever played on anybody? Ryan Theriot with one away. Fouls it off down the right field line. Chris.
Yeah, guys, I was actually privy to that prank. Ramon Castro, the backup catcher, was the one who actually did the dirty work. It was on his head for a full inning. I told Castro they ought to put you in Cooperstown, just based on that alone.
Well, yeah, the execution, excellent, but Kotsay just going over there and setting him up. I mean,
solid.
Early to first. Ramon Castro was the catcher last July 23rd when Mark Burley pitched his perfect game against Tampa Bay. It was the first time they worked together as a battery.
Kenny, that's why we love you. You tie everything together. You go from, cup on the top of somebody's head to perfect game. That's why we love you, Kenny Albert.
And that wasn't the Stanley Cup on the top of Kevin's head, was it?
No, if so, somebody would have to text me to go over and see it.
First, they have to get their fingerprints off it from last night. Stanley Cup will be here tomorrow at Wrigley Field as Baker sends this one to deep left, and Pierre makes the catch on the warning track, so the Cubs are retired in order in the fifth. Nice job, Ramon. By Verizon, the network with the most 3G coverage. And by Chevrolet and our award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers. White Sox scored a run in the first. And they lead the Cubs 1-0. Carlos Quentin leading off here in the top of the 6th inning against Carlos Silva. And takes a called strike, 0-1. Quentin is 0 for 2. Struck out and popped out to the first baseman, Derek Lee. Quentin drills this one foul down the left field line. Down the tunnel. Carlos Silva working from behind has won his last 6 starts. 8-0 this season. His first with the Cubs. Missing away, 1-2.
And that's that pitch. He starts out off of the plate. As a hitter, you give up on it, and then it runs back and catches the corner.
Quentin gets the bat on it, pops it up to the right side. And for the second straight at bat, Quentin pops out to the first baseman, Derek Lee. So in our Toyota in-game box score for the White Sox, Panerco with a pair of hits. And drove in the game's only run back in the first inning.
I mean, both teams, a well-pitched game from each side. The Cubs have had opportunities 2 different times, putting runners on first and second with nobody out. Unable to move them.
Following the Toyota in-game box score, we had a look at the new Toyota billboard here in Wrigley. Called off to the right side by Pierzynski, just out of the reach of Chris Rose. And introduced yesterday here at Wrigley, Eric, for the first time, recorded music when the Cub players came to the plate for their at-bats.
Worked well. 5 runs.
Although they allowed 10.
Yeah, well, this was just for the offense.
Well, we confirmed with Peter Chase, the director of public relations for the Cubs, yesterday, the first time in the history of this ballpark that music was played. Music of the player's choice.
Did we see history, or did we hear
did.
history?
We heard history. You choose your own music during your playing career?
I did. We at Dodger Stadium, Nancy B. Heffley, the organist, been there for so many years. She used to play the organ, and then finally we were able to pick some music, and I did.
Now, would you change it up during slumps?
I would change it up, not necessarily slumps, more like mood swings.
Would mood swings and slumps occur simultaneously?
It sounds dumb, but when you're walking to the plate and you hear that thing, you kind of, each step you take, you're kind of feeling a little bigger, getting to the plate, And put it this way, nobody's playing any love songs walking to the plate.
Pierzynski, right field. Coming out to make the catch is Nate. Now 2 away. Major League Baseball and People Magazine are recognizing individuals who make a difference in their community. Go to peopleallstars.com and vote for your favorite everyday All-Star who can represent your club and be honored at the 2010 All-Star Game in Anaheim, July 13th on Fox. Who will represent the Cubs and the White Sox? Carlos Silva certainly has a great chance to be selected for the first time. All-Star Game July 13th on Fox. Beckham into the right field corner. So Gordon Beckham is in at second with a rare extra base hit earlier this week. He broke a stretch of 112 at-bats without an extra base hit. His 7th double this season.
Well, he's been a guy this year that the White Sox are waiting for him to come around, play like he did last year. Just hasn't been able to get anything going. Right now, you've got to walk Nix here. go.
With Burley due up next. Strasburg might make 6, 7 more starts prior to the All-Star game. You think he'll be in Anaheim?
I'll tell you what, if he throws anything like he did the other day, I mean, if you're Charlie Manuel, you've got to consider, you know, get to pick a pitcher or two, or if the players get a vote.
If he's 4-0, 5-0, 6-0,
you know what,
who knows?
It's just the way he dominated hitters. And that, you know, the numbers, you can do what you want with the numbers. It's just like, even I'm thinking, when you look at the clubs, Marmol, the closer, I mean, not the greatest numbers, but nobody hits him.
Guys, I can tell you, Steven Strasburg's not going to start over Ubaldo Jimenez. Whew. 12th win of the year last night. Rain shortened. He's nasty,
Yeah, that's not fun stuff.
No.
That's a lot of movement. That's gangly arms coming from all over the place, and that's a heavy ball. You say a heavy ball, it's as a hitter, when you swing and you hit those things, if you don't hit it right on the barrel of the bat, you literally feel like you're breaking your hand. Wow, that's a shot.
This was as Burley headed to the plate. Ozzie looking to rub some good luck his way with runners on first and second and 2 outs. Burley with 4 career hits in 42 at bats. 2 from Silva, missing away. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, what you don't want to do when you're a pitcher here and you don't hit often is take a third strike. You don't want to go down looking.
Gets the bat on it. And is retired on the throw from Castro. So the White Sox strand 2, middle of the 6th, still 1-0. Will have 5 base hits, all singles in the first and the 4th innings. The first 2 Cubs picked up base hits off Burley, but in both cases he retired the next 3 hitters. as Derek Lee leads off here in the 6th. Lee is 0 for 2. So the White Sox with a 1-0 lead. This is the 74th interleague game between the White Sox and Cubs, Aaron. None of the previous 73 have ended 1-0.
So what are you telling me?
But you have to go all the way back to Game 4 of the 1906 World Series. The game won by the Cubs, 1-0.
Right here, if you're Mark Burley, you still stay away. 3-1. You know Derek Lee's up there looking to tie it up. Right there, big swing. And come back with the changeup. Just a little bit on the outer part of the plate.
Payoff pitch from Burley, called strike 3. Lee down on strikes for the second time. 5th strikeout for Burley.
Not a changeup, but a fastball on the outer part of the plate. And again, as a hitter, you've got to just say, look at, I don't care if he throws one inside. I've got to look for something outside, outside, outside.
And now a 1-out single for Marlon Byrd, his second hit of the game.
Marlon Byrd, you remember last at-bat, hit a changeup to right center. He went with the pitch. He's up here right now. He's being aggressive. This ball gets over the middle part of the plate. If you're looking away and you get something in the middle part or even the inner half, Mark Burley doesn't throw hard enough to where you're going to get beat. It's not like he's going to rush something in there, 92, 93. So again, look outside, adjust in, just as Marlon Byrd did right there.
So Byrd on at first. Xavier Nady 1 for 2, singled his last time up. Cubs have not had a base runner pass second base today.
Tinny, where was that pitch? That was low and away out of the zone. See Lou Piniella telling him right there? He's telling Soriano, move up in the plate. Move closer to the plate, move up in the box. Take away that pitch. And I keep saying this, and it's easy to recognize, but it's very difficult to execute. As a hitter, when you get in that box, you know, you're telling yourself, you know what, I don't want to get beat on an inside pitch. I don't want to get, and it's tough to go up there and say, I'm going to look for something away, and I'm going to drive it the other way. And it gets into to be an ego thing. You know, and that's that battle you have with yourself mentally. That's that grind that Lou was talking about.
To Nady, only catching the inside corner, now 1-2.
And you see right there that pitch froze Nady. He's thinking to himself, man, I just missed that pitch on the inner half right there. I can't believe I didn't swing. I could have jerked that out. Now Burley's got him thinking inside. There's a little bit of doubt right there.
Nady down on strikes. 6th strikeout for Mark Burley. Time now for the Just for Men Keep Your Edge Spotlight. Just as Mark Burley gives the White Sox the edge, you too can keep your edge with Just for Men mustache and beard.
Well, what we're seeing right here is a pattern, and that pattern is stay away, stay away. And really outside of Marlon Byrd, who made an adjustment and drove a ball the other way, the Cub hitters haven't adjusted to what Mark Burley is doing now.
So with 2 away, Alfonso Soriano 0 for 2 today. Byrd with a 1-out single. He's on at first. Burley with 2 strikeouts in the inning. We saw Lou giving his advice to Soriano moments ago in the on-deck circle.
And it looks like Soriano has moved closer to Burley. You look at that left front foot, it looks like it's well out in front of the plate.
One ball, 2 strike count. 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th inning in Chicago. 2-2.
It'll be interesting to see if Brzezinski notices this, because then maybe he goes with an adjustment and says, you know what, you're going to come up here, I'll sneak that cutter in on your hands. Job by Soriano laying off that pitch. Now, if I'm a hitter right now, 3-2, Burley's out pitch is that pitch away. I'm a guy that can hit the ball out of the park, so there's just, I can't look at anything in. If he throws it in, okay.
Throws it inside and strikes out Soriano to end the inning. Burley strikes out the side. We'll return after these messages from your local Fox station. Relay from Wrigley Field in Chicago. Kenny Albert, Eric Karros, and Chris Rose. Top of the 7th inning with the White Sox leading the Cubs 1-0. Juan Pierre leading off against 8-0 Carlos Silva. Pierre is 0 for 3 in today's game. He'll be followed by Alexei Ramirez and then Alex Rios. White Sox scored their run in the 1st inning off Silva. 3 consecutive singles. Paul Konerko drove in the White Sox run. Carlos Silva looking to become the first Cub since Ken Holtzman in 1967 to start 9-0. He would be the first starter to start 9-0 by winning all 9 of those games as a starting pitcher.
Did King Cole win all 9 as a starting pitcher?
He only won 8.
8. Oh, you are good. Man, I can't slip anything.
You tried to get me there.
Tried to lead you into that.
And Silva, the first pitcher in Cubs history to go 7-0 in his first 10 starts as a Cub. Pierre draws a leadoff walk. Only the second walk issued by Silva. The first was intentional. Here's Ken Holtzman back in 67. And there he is. Leonard King Cole.
They had color photos back then? Is that color?
Very observant of you. Very observant. So Pierre leads the American League in steals with 24 and is the active leader among all major league players in stolen bases. Pierre takes his lead off first with Alexei Ramirez at the plate. Ramirez 1 for 3, scored the game's only run, and he bunts it foul off to the right side.
Well, we talked about this White Sox ball club being a power hitting team, second in Major League Baseball. Home runs, at least second in the American League. But they also run. Second in the American League in stolen bases. They've been caught a number of times. They will force the issue.
That was actually a digital photo of King Cole, and it was tweeted by Chris Rose.
Thought it was Skyped or something.
You're
I
funny.
guess.
I got it from inside of a cereal box, guys.
Speaking of Twitter, Ken Rosenthal has tweeted from Boston that Daniel Nalba's parents barely made it to Fenway for the game today. Their flight was canceled. They had to scramble, left their bags at the airport. The rest of the family is in California at a graduation, but they did make it just in time for his grand slam in his first major league at bat.
That's good.
That's awesome.
Good parenting right there, guys. We can all take a lesson.
Pierre goes, and Ramirez fouls it off.
That's the way Karros runs to the airport for his kids' Little League games. How are we doing this season, by the way, EK?
We're over. We're over. We were eliminated last week. I was outmanaged.
Playoffs?
Playoffs.
Playoffs?
Playoffs. Playoffs.
It's all right. We'll get them next year.
Yeah, I've already got them working towards next year.
Sure you do. You're that kind of guy. You're a grinder.
I'm the butter maker of the Little League, boys.
Very impressive last week as you managed the game on Friday and Sunday in L.A. and worked the game in New York in between on Saturday. That's dedication.
And put on an eating display at Citi Field from the Shake Shack.
Shake Shack getting a plug here in Chicago. That was some display. 1-2 now on Ramirez.
Well, obviously Pierre taking up a lot of attention. You know, and what this does, again, it gives a hitter an opportunity to jump on a mistake.
There goes Pierre. Pitch out. The throw down to second is in time, but the tag not applied in time, so Pierre is safe. Here comes Lou Piniella.
Well, this is really a great job of a slide by Juan Pierre. He goes head first, and what he does is he pulls his left arm back and then goes over the glove of Castro. Let's take a look right here. Now watch Castro. The ball beats him right there. Now this is the mistake, and this is where you have to teach. This is where I teach all my little leaguers this, and it's going to sound ridiculous. Put the glove down in front of the base. Don't go out and try to reach and tag Pierre. Pierre's got to come to the bag. You put the glove down in front of the base. You reach out, try to tag the guy. He can dodge it. He can lift his arm, lift a leg, do whatever. Put the glove down in front of the base.
So a great job by Pierre, eluding the tag, stealing his 484th career base, and a terrific call by the second base umpire, Kerwin Danley. And now Ramirez on the next pitch from Silva strikes out.
Well, and that's the advantage of sliding head first. You know, you can do that. You can elude a tag. Now, see right here, look at Castro way out in front trying to make the tag. Why do you go out to make the tag? Just put the glove down by the base. And Pierre, recognizing that, lifts up his left arm, able to get in there.
Pierre takes his lead off second with Alex Rios at the plate.
Kerwin Danley doing a nice job making that call. A lot of guys just ball beats you, you're going to be out. Right on top of it, a former member of the San Diego State Aztecs, a teammate of Tony Gwynn. He's an All-American outfielder. There's Kerwin.
Good call. And Tony Gwynn would later coach Steven Strasburg in college, and Tony was on hand for Strasburg's debut in Washington this week.
That pitch was off. Didn't have a lot of that action where it comes back over the corner of the plate. Almost looked like he threw it too hard. Good job by Soto.
Carlos Silva due up third to the bottom of the seventh inning. There is action in the Cubs pen. Sean Marshall up and throwing. .111 pitches so far thrown by Silva today. One out, top of the seventh inning. White Sox lead 1-0. Pierre, the runner on second. Rios at the plate. Payoff pitch from Silva. Pierre will have to hold at second as Baker throws out Rios for out number 2. Well, today's MLB on Fox Tune In to Win bonus question is, who will be the first player to strike out in the 8th inning? To answer, visit foxsports.com/tune-in. Make your prediction before the final out of this 7th inning. Out of the game, sign up today for next week's MLB on Fox game at foxsports.com/tune-in. What happens if nobody strikes out in the 8th?
I don't know. I just listen to you read those things, Kenny. I don't have the rules and regulations.
I'll have to look into that. Although it is only the bonus question. Paul Konerko, 2 hits today. Drove in the game's only run back in the first inning. Pierre, the runner on second with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th.
Silva's made 2 great pitches right there. And the common theme with both of them, they've been down in the zone. When he gets them up, that's where Konerko's hurt him, even with the movement that Silva's had. But I've been impressed by Silva today. He's thrown a great ball game up to this point.
The 0-2, missing away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Sean Marshall on the right, and the hard-throwing rookie Andrew Cashner helping the Cubs pen as Giovanni Soto heads out to the mound. We take you back to the first inning. Konerko at the plate with 2 on. And he drives in his 45th run of the season with a single into right field.
You saw that pitch. He was up in the zone. Had a lot of movement, but when Silva's been down in the zone, you couple that with the darting action that he's had on his pitches, he's been virtually unhittable. But when he gets it up, the hitter has a shot.
The 1-2 to Konerko. Silva again missing away. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He's gone twice with that slider. Now he's probably going to come back with that fastball that starts off of the plate and then runs over the corner.
Full count, and Silva has tied his career high. This is his 9th season with 117 pitches today.
Well, and he doesn't have to throw a strike here. I'll be shocked if he throws something good to hit. You just try and nibble, because the worst thing that can happen, first and second, you start over with the next hitter.
Pitch from Silva. Konerko got a piece of it.
It's an excellent pitch right there, trying to make a pitcher's pitch, down and away. Again, the most that Konerko's going to do with that is maybe bounce it into the ground. But again, he does not have to throw a pitch that Konerko can hit here. A walk is okay.
This will be the 25th pitch of the inning, thrown by Silva. Got him! Well, Konerko did get a piece of it. Croft thought he struck him out.
Well, and that's that pitch. It starts out off of the plate and then comes back. Now, if you want a definition of what an at-bat is when you grind it out, that's what this at-bat is. He's fouling pitches off. He's laying off pitches. He was down early in the count. This is a 9th pitch coming. This is a grind-him-out at-bat.
Right center field. Long run for Nady. It drops in for a base hit. Pierre scores. Second RBI of the game for Konerko. The White Sox now lead 2-0.
We talk about Silva gets in trouble when the ball is up in the zone. Now watch this pitch. This might even be out of the zone, but it's up. Easier for Konerko to handle. He's had 3 hits today, all of them been up in the zone. Look at this. I mean, that's up. It's running in. As a hitter, you can fight that off. That is that grind him out at bat. Silva not excited, didn't really like the route, made a bunch of pitches. Konerko just battled and battled and battled.
So Konerko, who had 2 hits yesterday, with 3 hits today, 2 RBIs, and Silva will remain in the game for the Cubs. He will face Carlos Quentin, who is 0 for 3 today and has not hit a ball out of the infield.
Well, I mean, we talked about it at the opening of the show. You know, Konerko, the season he's having, his approach, the ability to drive in runs. We're talking about Silva and his dominance, and really that was just a classic showdown right there. That time Konerko came out on top.
So the White Sox with a run in the first and a run here in the 7th, both driven in by the White Sox captain. Silva off the mound, barehands it, throw to first, and Quentin is retired, but the White Sox add to their lead. 7th inning stretch time in Chicago. By VW, it's a whole new Volkswagen and a whole new game. And by Lowe's, for all your home improvement needs, Lowe's, let's build something together. White Sox now lead the Cubs 2-0, bottom of the 7th inning. And the bottom of the order for the Cubs with Giovanni Soto leading off against Mark Burley, who has shut out the Cubs on 6 base hits over the first 6 innings. 6 hits for the Cubs, all singles. Long run for Carlos Quentin, and he makes the catch near the line and right to retire Soto, who is now 1 for 3. There's quarterback Jay Cutler saying, "Take me out to the ball game" during the 7th inning stretch today. Tomorrow, many members of the Blackhawks will be on hand with the Stanley Cup. Some of the Blackhawk players will take part in the ceremonial first pitch, and they will lead the fans and sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Stanley Cup will visit Wrigley Field tomorrow. Remember, the NHL's Winter Classic was played here on New Year's Day 2009. Blackhawks and the Red Wings. Starlin Castro is 0 for 2, and Tyler Colvin has come out into the on-deck circle to bat for Carlos Silva. On the ground to the shortstop, Ramirez. 2 away. As we set it downstairs once again to Chris Rose. Chris?
Yeah, our first weather report of the day, Kenny. It is not good. It is getting colder. It is getting windier. And for the first time, Mr. and Mrs. Raindrop have showed up. There's a ton of them, as you can see. It's not raining real hard yet. We can play through this. But they told us it was going to get pretty strong between 5 and 6. And it's more like 5:15.
Let's see. Chris started the day in our booth. Did the pregame show from press level. Now he's downstairs. Will he return?
If it starts raining, he'll return. That's my call.
Now, I'm going to, you know what? I didn't ditch the jacket and tie today.
That's because it's freezing.
Okay, so.
Freezing.
Mr. Golf Shirt up there.
We saw you in the golf shirt in Texas last week. Diving attempt by Canerco and Tyler Colvin. With a pinch hit single into right field.
That's because I did the game from an oven, guys. A little warm last week.
We understand. So, Colvin now 4 for 14 as a pinch hitter. The subject of some of the controversy this past week. He is on at first with a 2-out base hit. So now Ryan Terrio 1 for 3 today. Well, the rain held off until this point. It drizzled earlier today. Game started on time under sunny skies. Now we see a couple of umbrellas out. Not too many.
I'll tell you, Mark Burley, I mean, he's just been absolutely dominant today. And that's one of the reasons why the White Sox have won the last couple of games. The starting pitching has been great. The last 4 starts, the starters coming in today, ERA of under 2.
Cody Garcia's pitched very well. He's won 6 of his last 7 starts. Back-to-back base hits for the Cubs. Colvin on his way to third. Well, the Cubs with runners on the corners and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Terrio hits this off the very end of the bat. Good placement by him right now.
So that will be all for Mark Burley. Outstanding today. Goes 6 2/3 after 2 poor starts. Chris?
Kenny, as Mark Burley was leaving, tipped his cap and looked at a few White Sox fans, but then a bunch of Cubs fans and kind of gave it a little, stick it to you guys as he was exiting stage left. Big old smile on his face, Kenny.
Chatting with Jake Peavy in the White Sox dugout. Sergio Santos comes out of the White Sox pen, facing a pinch hitter, Chad Tracy, who takes strike one. Tracy just 1 for 12 as a pinch hitter. First and third, 2 outs, bottom of the 7th inning. 0-2 on Tracy. Sergio Santos has been terrific this season, a former position player. Did not allow a run in 19 of his first 20 appearances.
Hard thrower, a lot of movement. Tracy just recently recalled a number of years with the Diamondbacks.
It's blocked by Krasinski. Colvin, the runner on third. Terrio on at first. Krasinski shaking it off. Both starting pitchers outstanding.
Well, they really did a great job. The difference is the White Sox have Paul Konerko, who's had great at-bats with runners in scoring position. And the Cubs, on the other hand, haven't been able to get a hit with runners in scoring position.
Colvin, the first Cub to reach third base today. To Tracy, and he gets the bat on it to stay alive. Eric Lee looming on deck should Tracy reach. Bottom of the 7th inning, 2-0 White Sox. Another foul.
Well, Tracy up there battling. You know, and right now he's of the mentality, he's trying to prove that he deserves to get an opportunity to play at this level. This is a guy that had some successful years in Arizona. Signed over here, played for a bit, then was sent down to the minor leagues, was absolutely tearing it up. But you know, he's not going to give away any pitch up there.
Tracy called out on strikes. The Cubs strand 2. Burley all smiles. 2-0 White Sox through 7. Visit your local Lowe's to cast your Scotts MLB All-Star ballot and enter for a chance to win a VIP All-Star Week experience. Compliments of Scotts. A.J. Pierzynski with a single into left center off the 23-year-old right-hander Andrew Kashner, who comes out of the Cubs pen in relief of Carlos Silva.
And Kashner will rush it up there. First-round pick in 2008 out of TCU. Had some great minor league numbers and has been successful in his brief tenure up here in the Bigs.
Gordon Beckham lays down the bunt, fielded by Kashner. The toss to Terrio covering. So a successful sacrifice, 1-4. Pierzynski moving to second.
Well, that pitch right there is about 3 or 4 inches off the plate. Running away. A nasty pitch. If you're pitching, you want it. If you're hitting, you're saying, hey, I can't hit that. Really excited.
So Pierzynski now in scoring position. We'll look at Kastner's numbers in his first 4 appearances. Jason Nix steps in. He was intentionally walked his last time up. Had an infield hit back in the 4th inning. And Mark Kotsay has come out into the on-deck circle with the pitcher Santos due up next. 2-0 White Sox. Chad Tracy remains in the game at third after pitch hitting for Jeff Baker. And as you just saw, he was called out on strikes. The only batter Santos faced in relief of Mark Burley. Base hit past the diving Tracy. Pierzynski to third. White Sox with runners on the corners with only 1 out.
This ball just pulled by the diving Tracy right there. Nix gets it out in front. Pierzynski has to freeze because he can't just go run into an out. If Tracy makes that play, Pierzynski may be susceptible to being tagged, so he freezes. Once the ball gets out in the left field, then he moves on to third. Watch this. See, AJ's got to freeze. Oh, then he get going with that big body move.
So here's Mark Kotsay, pinch hitting for Santos. Mark had been wearing the microphone for us, but discards the mic for the bat. First and third, 1 out. Pierzynski on at third. Nix over at first. 2 hits in the inning off Kashner for the White Sox. Fastball missing away. 2-0.
So Mark Kotsay's hit a few in the gap. Right now, with the way the defense is playing, because Derek Lee is holding on Nix, you see that big right side over there. Can drive that through. All he's looking to do is hit a ground ball.
Fastball missing away now, 3-0.
And see Kashner trying to stay away from Kotsay. He doesn't want to come in at all where he can pull something through that hole.
Three and 1.
See, we're starting to get a whole host of some more fans right out in center field. A ton of birds showing up.
Kotsay fouls it back. The count is now full. We have Marlon Byrd in center, and he has been joined by some friends.
Look at that.
How many birds are there now in center field? Chris can count for us. Ball 4. Bases loaded. Pitching coach Larry Rothschild out for a visit with Andrew Kashner. Fox Sports is proud to team with the Breast Cancer Research Foundation during our 2010 MLB on Fox season. The Breast Cancer Research Foundation helps fund the most advanced and promising breast cancer research. Join the fight by texting CURE to 27722 to donate $10 or visit bcrfcure.org. Messaging and data rates may apply. White Sox with a 2-0 lead. Bases loaded here in the 8th inning. Pierzynski at third. Nix at second. And Kotsay over at first. And a flock of birds in left center and center field.
You see the infield right now. They're playing halfway.
Soto.
I think they got a good piece of flesh right there at Soto. You know, right now, if I'm pitching to Pierre, you watch Soto just wear that right on the inner half of the thigh. That's all thigh right there. Nice mark there. But I'm not so sure I'd be trying to throw something low. I'd try to get something up in the zone to Pierre. You throw hard enough, try to induce a pop-up. Probably not going to drive the ball that far. It's very difficult to level up. There you go.
The birds are starting to exit, and we check in with Chris.
Yeah, how's this look for you? It's raining harder. EK, I don't know. You tell me when you're up at the dish. How tough is it to focus on what's going on with this sort of weather? Because it is now raining fairly hard.
You know, you're not really liking it, but if you're up there with the bases loaded, or you've got an opportunity to do something, it makes it a bit more tolerable. But you've also got to remember, tougher maybe for the pitcher to grip the ball. Cashner's done a nice job coming back. The 3-0 pitch was very suspect. Pierre thought it was ball 4, but now he's come back here.
A payoff pitch from Cashner. Right back to the box. Cashner throws home for 1. The first double play. The 1-2-3 double play. Cashner gets out of the inning.
here. A double play. You see these pitches in it. It's a 3-0 count. That is ball 4 right there. Should have walked. Now it's 3-2, and boom, Cubs are out of the inning. Great job by Cashner. But I'll tell you, that 3-0 pitch, look at this, Kenny. Look at it. Wow. Out of the zone. Soto brings it back. And that changes the whole complexion of not only the at-bat, but the game. Cashner fired up. Nice job by the young man.
And now J.J. Putz on in relief here at the bottom of the 8th inning. Third White Sox pitcher of this game. Facing the heart of the Cubs order, Derek Lee, Marlon Byrd, and Xavier Nady. Putz this season at home has allowed 6 earned runs in 11 innings. Has not allowed a run on the road in 9 2/3.
Well, you just put him in a suitcase and take him with you. You don't open him up at home.
Lee pops it up. Second baseman Becker makes the play for out number 1, and Derek Lee is now 0 for 4. J.J. Putz spent last season with the Mets after 6 years in Seattle. Retires the first batter of this 8th inning. And here is Marlon Byrd, who has 2 hits today, extending his hitting streak to 9 games. Sizzling at the plate. Marlon Byrd now 19 for his last 37.
I mean, he's just seeing the ball well, and you can tell that, you know, with his approach, the way he's taking his swings, he's making adjustments at the plate.
And Byrd drives this one into the left field corner. Extra bases for Marlon Byrd. A stand-up double for the Cubs with a runner in scoring position with 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Well, this ball just runs in on the inner half of the plate. Marlon doesn't even take a stride, just throws those hands, drives it into the corner, gets by Pierre. But as you mentioned, I mean, he's seeing the ball well, and you can tell, I mean, doesn't take a lot of bad swings, is making adjustments. I mean, he makes hitting look so very easy. And if you're a Cubs fan, you're watching Marlon Byrd, you're saying, geez, come on, why can't the rest of the guys go up there and do it like that? And it's, you know, it's not that simple.
The appeal play at first. Byrd did not miss the bag, says Dana Demuth.
You see, he's looking to see where the ball hits the corner. Pretty obvious right there.
First extra base hit of this game for the Cubs after 8 singles. Now the Cubs shut out over the first 7 innings by Burley and Santos. Now threatening here in the 8th, trailing 2-0. White Sox have won 3 in a row. They have not won 4 consecutive games all season. White Sox have also won the last 4 against the Cubs dating back to last season. They have never won 5 in a row over the Cubs during interleague play. 10-5 White Sox yesterday. 2-0 White Sox here today. Bottom of the 8th inning. 1-0 to Nady. And for a called strike from J.J. Putz, now 1-1. Nady, like Putz, played in New York last season, although Nady played in only 7 games for the Yankees before hurting his elbow, underwent Tommy John surgery. He did receive a World Series ring, despite having played in only 7 games. And he fouls this back, now 1-2.
Nady, good player, excellent hitter. Padres, the Pirates. He's battled some injuries. Top pick out of Berkeley, I believe.
Played for both New York teams. The intent, Cal Berkeley. Byrd takes his lead off second. A 1-2 to Nady. Fastball missing inside. Now 2-2.
Good job of laying off that. Puts trying to entice a hitter. It always looks good. You always think it when you're up at the plate, man, I can catch up to that high fastball. And every once in a while you do, but a lot of times you swing through it or you pop it straight up.
Alfonso Soriano waiting on deck. 2-2 from Putz, missing away, full count. And now Pierzynski will visit the mound. White Sox with a run of the first, a run of the seventh. One out, bottom of the eighth inning. Bird with a one-out double. And now a full count with Xavier Nady at the plate. Payoff pitch from Putz. Oh, strike three. So now 2 away. First strikeout for Putz. Fox Saturday Baseball is sponsored by Toyota, by Sears Blue Lawn and Garden Crew, and by DirecTV. Watch and record in multiple rooms with just one DVR. So with 2 away, here is Alfonso Soriano. 0 for 3. He struck out twice. 2 for 7 lifetime against J.J. Putz. First pitch to Soriano, ball 1.
Again, just trying to get a base hit. You're only 2 runs down. A base hit should only put you 1 down. You go into the 9th. You can't want to just go up there and tie the game right now. You get something great, but just go for the base hit.
On the ground to the shortstop, Ramirez. We head to the 9th here at Wrigley. Good job by Putz. 2-0 White Sox. Carlos Marmol comes on to pitch the 9th for the Cubs, who trail the White Sox 2-0. Marmol with 51 strikeouts, which leads all big league relief pitchers this season. We'll face Ramirez, Rios, and Canerco here in the top of the 9th inning, and Kosuke Fukudomi now in right field as part of the double switch. Rios has struck out his last 2 times up. Singled and scored the game's first run back in the first inning. Center field, moving to his right, is Marlon Byrd. Engulfed by that flock of birds, and he makes the catch. One away. Congratulations to Bill, Mark, and Redrick for winning today's MLB on Fox. Tune in to win. Visit foxsports.com/tune-in to see your results. If you missed this week's game, make sure to play next week. One away. Here's Alex Rios. And he takes strike 1 from Carlos Marmol, who is averaging 17 strikeouts per 9 innings this season.
Yeah, it's just not a lot of fun to go up and try to hit. You've got a lot of movement on the fastball. Slider right there. You know, the fastball will run in on the right-handed hitter. The slider runs away. Got a lot of motion, a lot of arms and legs coming at you.
Averaging 17 strikeouts per 9, and there is his first today. So 2 away as we check out the leading vote getters by position in the American League with the All-Star game coming up on Fox July 13th from Anaheim.
Yeah, how about Vladimir Guerrero may return to Anaheim, his old stomping grounds, having a great season with the Texas Rangers. Robinson Cano.
Here's Paul Konerko with 2 outs. He's driven in both runs in this game. As we take a look at the leaders in National League All-Star balloting. Andre Ethier in center, leading hitter in the National League with a .357 average.
How about Jason Hayward? Talk about Strasburg. Jason Hayward, one of the young, exciting position players for the Atlanta Braves. One of the reasons they're up at the top of the division.
Giovanni Soto, the Cubs catcher, started the All-Star game as a rookie in 2008. As did Kosuke Fukudome. The 0-2 to Konerko. Cubs will have, in the bottom of the 9th inning, Soto, Castro, and Fukudome due up. They trail the White Sox 2-0. Says Dana DeMuth. 2-2 on Konerko, who has 3 hits today, 5 hits in this series. 2 for 5 yesterday, 3 for 4 today. He's driven in 2 runs in both games. A 2-2 from Marmol, way inside.
This is that fastball that runs in right there. That almost got Paulie right there.
2 White Sox hit by pitches earlier in this game by Cubs starter Carlos Silva. Payoff pitch. And Konerko will head down to first. That hit him.
That hit him. The slider, though.
It was either going to be ball 4 or a hit by pitch, and it looked like it did glance off the right leg.
Yep.
So the 3rd White Sox hit with a pitch today. Fox tonight, it's never a good idea to drink and drive on an all-new Cops, part of a full hour. Then it's a happy ending for these young victims. But their abusers are still on the run. Help track them down on an all-new America's Most Wanted. It all starts at 8, 7 Central tonight on Fox. Carlos Quentin 0 for 4. Quiet game, has not gotten the ball out of the infield. One ball, one strike, top of the ninth inning. White Sox lead the Cubs 2-0.
You see, in Marmol, one of his biggest strengths, one of his biggest assets is also his biggest fault. And he's erratic. And when you're erratic as a hitter, you're going to get in there and you're not feeling real comfortable. You got a little fear factor. That benefits him. But what he does is when he gets erratic, he may hit a guy, puts him on base with walks. You know, it happened the other day against the Milwaukee Brewers. Hit Ricky Weeks, and then Weeks ended up scoring. You know, once he can harness that control and be erratic by choice, nobody will touch him. See the dominance right there. Strikeouts, most by a reliever in all of Major League Baseball since 2007.
There goes. Payoff gets the quick and a call. Strike three. So Marmol strikes out 2 in the inning. We head to the bottom of the ninth with Soto, Castro, and Fukudome due up for the Cubs, who trail by 2. Of the game, 7th inning. Pitch out, Juan Pierre steals second as he eludes the tag attempt by Starlin Castro. And Pierre later in the inning would score the second White Sox run.
And why that was big right there is Konerko ends up driving him in. Would have had 3 outs. Konerko never would have had an opportunity. It's the game of 2-0 ball game.
There's Andrew Jones down right field. Bobby Jenks, 10-for-11 in save situations this season, facing Giovanni Soto. Soto 1 for 3. 0 for 2 lifetime against Jenks. Tremendous job by our entire crew here in Chicago, led by our producer Jeff Gowan, director Jim Lynch, associate director Eric Billigmeyer, associate producer Andy Cavanaugh, our technical producer Craig Marlowe. As Soto fouls it back, technical director Simon Benazrin. Pre-game show produced by Don Bowie. Highlights coordinator Janice Casaza. The technical supervisor is Jack Simmons. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown. The executive producers, David Hill, Ed Gorin, and Eric Shanks. And our statistician in the booth is Marty Aronoff. A 1-2 from Jenks. Missing away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mike Fontenot has come out on deck to pinch hit for Starlin Castro. Soto leading off for the Cubs. Bottom of the 9th, trailing by 2.
Soto having a good at-bat, making Jenks work. He's got the count to 3-2. Got to look for a fastball right here. Can't believe Jenks would be messing around with the breaking pitch right now. Soto's run means nothing. You don't want to walk it.
Payoff pitch from Jenks. Ball 4. First walk issued by a White Sox pitcher today as we check out the standings of the American League Central. At the start of play today, White Sox 8.5 behind the first place Minnesota Twins, who will play on Fox next Saturday in Philadelphia. Mike Fontenot pinch hitting for Starlin Castro. 3 for 12 as a pinch hitter, batting .298 overall. Cubs have come back from a 3-run deficit 5 times this year. They trail by 2 today. To Fontenot, fouls it off. 1-2.
Well, you see Brzezinski just setting up on that outside corner there all day long. Doug Eddings has had a big zone on that side of the plate. And Fontenot took the first pitch for a strike in this at bat and wasn't real excited about it. You know, Brzezinski's recognized that. You just got to stay out there.
1-2, and Fontenot is down on strikes. 1 away here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
It's an off-speed pitch. It just dives out of the zone. But again, Brzezinski's smart. He's going to use that part of the plate all day long because he's been getting an extra 3, 4, 5 inches out there. And as a hitter, if you've been watching the game, you know that, look, Eddings is going to call that ball out there.
So with 1 down, here's Bucadomi batting for the first time today. Jenks, the first for out number 2. Soto moves to second. Well, the Cubs down to their final out as Ryan Theriot steps to the plate. Theriot 0 for 1. Lifetime against Jenks. Looking for his 11th save this season. Theriot 2 hits today. Singled in the first, singled in the 7th. White Sox 1 out away from their first 4-game winning streak of this season. It will be their 5th consecutive win over the Cubs, dating back to 2009. Theriot takes a called strike, 0-1. Cubs with runners in scoring position, 0 for 9 with 6 Ks. Soto in scoring position now. 0-1 to Theriot, strike 2.
Well, this is where you just widen your stance, and all you're trying to do is just put the bat on the ball and hope something good happens.
Bobby Jenks looking to save it for Mark Burley, who won only 1 of his prior 10 starts. Carlos Silva started the season 8-0 for the Cubs. This would be his first loss. The 1-2 to Terrio. Just missed.
This pitch on the outer half of the plate. Now remember what we were talking about. That part of the plate, Doug Eddings hasn't been given the pitcher that pitch. On the other side of the plate, you're getting about 4 or 5 inches.
Full count. And Tracy on deck. Should Terrio reach? Luke, right center. It drops in. RBI number 16 for Terrio. Driving in Soto. The Cubs' first hit with a runner in scoring position today.
Well, and that's what Lou Piniella was talking about. The battling up there with the at-bat, the grinding it out. That's what Terrio does there. Down early in the count, 0-2, gets it to 3-2, and then fights off a pitch. Those are the at-bats that the Cubs need to have on a more consistent basis.
Chad Tracy is called out on strikes with 2 on back in the 7th. And he pinch hit for Jeff Baker. He has home run power. 220-plus home run seasons for the Diamondbacks.
You know, if you're a Cubs fan right now, and you've got to this part of the season, you're going, oh man, what's in store here? The one saving grace right now is at least the Cubs haven't quit. I mean, yesterday they were down 10-2. They battled back. They scored some runs. They're still battling. They just need their fortune to turn. When they're not battling back, then it's time to worry. You know, and that's the thing. The group of guys, they're going to battle. They're going to keep going at it. You know, Piniella's not going to raise the white flag.
Bounce foul to the right side. Now 0-2.
Well, if I'm Jenks right now, Brzezinski's behind the plate. I have Brzezinski set about 4 or 5 inches off the outside corner, and I'm going to throw 2 or 3 fastballs out there.
Deck, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th inning. White Sox lead the Cubs 2-1. Terrio drove in the Cubs run. He is on at first. Terrio goes. The 1-2 is fouled back to the screen by Tracy.
Brzezinski having Jenks stay away from Tracy. I'm figuring if Tracy does hit it, it'll be a single. The other way, won't score Terrio.
Terrio goes. Tracy strikes out to end the ball game. White Sox win it 2-1. Their 4th consecutive victory. Their 5th in a row over the Cubs, who score a run at the bottom of the 9th. Terrio is stranded Burley the win. Silva his first loss. Jenks save number 11. We'll return to Wrigley Field in Chicago right after these messages from your local Fox station.